Sometimes the ideas are so big that people either can't hear them or don't want to hear them, but they got to listen to this one.
Coinbase is now on record how the United States will likely buy $100 billion in Bitcoin very soon. This is Sebastian Bay, who is the president of Coinbase Asset Management, meaning this is somebody in the know. I also want to discuss how the Senate has pushed up the vote for the Genius Stablecoin Bill, as well as the latest Ethereum news, so watch today's whole video. But as I share with you this clip and I react along the way, pay attention to how the United States is going to buy this Bitcoin and how it won't cost the taxpayers a dime. Like the video, and let's start.
Sometimes the ideas are so big that people either can't hear them or don't want to hear them, but they got to listen to this one. Okay. So what has the government told you? The US government, they have said that they would like to progress on a path of asset monetization in general. Now, what are the assets in that monetization plan? Gold, Fannie and Freddie, the U.S. buildings that we're not using enough of, right? Okay. So Fannie and Freddie and the buildings are pretty easy. Float them, sell them, right? That's going to generate more. That's going to generate some capital, right? And maybe some gains depending on where they're marked, which is going to accrue to the U.S. government and perhaps go over to the sovereign wealth fund. Maybe it's already in the sovereign wealth fund. That's neither here nor there. It's just they have these assets. They're going to monetize them one way or the other. But gold is different, we think. And to quote Marcel, his view on gold is that you really have to understand the pipes of how banks and how the government works to understand why, or rather, how they might revalue gold and buy Bitcoin and yet be budget neutral. So let me walk you through it very quickly.
So keep watching because this is how it's going to happen.
So today, because of law, the U.S. government still values gold that it holds in Fort Knox at $42 and change, right? Now, if they were to just mark that to market, so it's worth probably an incremental $900 billion to $1 trillion, right? Now, if you look in the public press on Twitter, most people suspect that it will revalue it and then sell some gold to maybe go buy some Bitcoin. We don't think that that's the most likely case. We believe it's most likely that at some point, it could be this year, they will go and change it such that they will revalue gold to current market pricing. That would create a mark-to-market gain of $900 billion, right? And if you look at, I think the Senator Lummis bill was calling for buying, I think it's 1 million Bitcoin over 5 years. Well, that's $100 billion, if I have the math right. So our back of the envelope is that when the revaluation occurs, that creates a $900 billion, given today's market price, mark-to-market gain, which then is money that the Treasury could then take. And then the Treasury would be able to use that money in the sovereign wealth fund in a budget neutral manner to go and buy a variety of things, we think probably including Bitcoin. And just to think about the math, $100 billion of $900 billion doesn't sound like that much. But the asset is about a $1.8 trillion asset. And if we go from no longer selling, right, which we just did, to here's a way by which we can actually take on a meaningful position, it's hard to see a situation where other governments don't feel compelled in some way to measure up.
And
right?
then you have this arms race, as it were.
This is a signal. The United States government has already told us this is happening, that they want to add to their Bitcoin position. They already have some Bitcoin that they confiscated, add to that position in a quote-unquote budget neutral way. This is on the horizon. And speaking of signal, it's not just Bitcoin, it's crypto. Senate to vote on the Genius Stablecoin Bill before Memorial Day. And this is major because stablecoins are such a key part of the cryptocurrency market. It was commonly accepted that this was happening before the end of the year, but now, before Memorial Day, they're pushing this up. Senate Majority Leader John Thune announced behind closed doors that a vote on the Guiding and Establishing National Innovation for U.S. Stablecoins, Genius Act, will take place before Memorial Day. This means that the Senate is likely to take up the landmark crypto legislation by Friday, May 23rd, which is the last working day before the holiday weekend. And how we know this is because Thune delivered the timeline during the GOP senators' weekly conference lunch, setting the stage for the Senate's first major vote on crypto regulatory reform. The stablecoin bill is such a complete 180 in terms of support that we have now from the United States government in terms of clear, positive regulation. And I'm not saying this is the best explanation of the stablecoin bill, but I like this explanation from Senator Tim Scott because of how he explains the importance of a stablecoin bill to normies. Normies just want faster, cheaper payments. And that's what Tim Scott tries to explain.
Think about it from a guy who's 50 plus years old. Stablecoins is like having a traveler's check on blockchain. And so it creates access across the world. And it also democratizes in a powerful way. So as a kid who grew up in poverty in a single parent household, I always think about how important it is to make it easier for single mothers and people struggling to reduce their costs and have greater access. And the faster we get there, the easier it is for the average American to live their version of the American dream. And so the stablecoin legislation just takes a leap in that direction.
Click the like button if you're getting value in today's video. Click subscribe because Altcoin Daily brings you one video a day, giving you an edge investing in crypto just by keeping you informed. And the last thing I want to stress to you about this major genius stablecoin bill is some insight from the Blockchain Association's Ron W. Hammond on what's next for the stablecoin, the Stable Act, the Genius Act, they're being combined, and market structure bills. Expected action in May to June.
Obviously not in a suit today because Congress is in recess and my suits are dry cleaning right now. So I appreciate everyone coming by. It's really exciting. There's a lot happening on Capitol Hill. So let's just quickly dive into kind of where the state of play is right now. So we have first off, we got our first crypto bill signed into law very, very recently. It was the IRS broker rule that dated back to the infrastructure bill of 2021. It's been a long, long fight. So to see that culminated into a bipartisan vote of 2/3 of Congress supporting this and getting to the president's desk on a CRA, let alone a CRA of a treasury rule, is pretty groundbreaking on a number of fronts. So it's really exciting to see that huge base of support because we're going to need it for the next round, which is going to be stablecoins. We have the Stable Act in the House that passed the committee. It's currently waiting for a House vote. We have the Genius Act that's waiting for a vote in the Senate on the Senate floor. Timing for those can be pretty soon, or it could be a little bit longer. It really depends on a lot of the macro stuff that's happening right now in DC. We're going to have a lot of discussions on reconciliation, the budget for the next couple of weeks in Congress and in May. And so there's a chance that this really does push off those stablecoin bills to maybe more of a June timeframe, but they're still figuring out the schedule right now, it seems. So we could see stablecoins, and we probably will see them move likely mid to late May. But what's going to have to happen is once the House votes on their version, the Stable Act, and the Senate votes on their version, the Genius Act, they are different. So they're going to have to combine those two bills together, vote on it again, which will be the Stable Genius Act. Now, there's been a lot of calls about maybe doing a one bill approach because market structure is just right behind it. We already had a couple of hearings happening in the House. And it seems like we're going to get a draft pretty soon. It could be anywhere from potentially as early as next week we might see something to maybe end of May we'll maybe see something. There's a lot of, I'm talking to various folks here, and it's still unclear when they're going to be ready for prime time, but they're close. So while the stablecoin bill, we're waiting for those time to have a vote on it on the floor. In the meantime, the committee is going to be working on market structure. So that's a big bill that everyone wants to talk about. Securities laws, commodities law, where's the SEC jurisdiction end? Where does the CFTC jurisdiction begin? Where does custody rules look like? All these huge things are huge questions that a lot of folks have. The only thing that we really know solidly is that it's going to be different than FIT 21. But it's going to be subject for a lot more hearings and a lot more debate. So get really excited because it's going to be really dense in the weed topics when we come to market structure. And again, likely May and June, we'll really see that ramp up. And so the upside is that we have a lot of bills that are moving forward, and it does have the impetus of the president really encouraging this to happen. He wants a bill signed to his desk before August 1st. And so would that be market structure? It's hard to see at this stage. However, there is the potential they could get this done in time. Stablecoins seem like the more likely candidate. And again, there have been some articles out there saying, maybe we should just do one big bill and have everything, including market structure and stablecoins in there. I'm sure that's one of the tactics, but we do have another year and a half of this Congress, so we do have time if we don't get to it right now immediately. So overall, it's really, really exciting, at least on the congressional front, but expect a lot more action in the time, and we're going to be waiting, hopefully, for floor time to free up to get a lot of these necessary bills done.
Do not take this for granted. This is a momentum shift, and we are living through it. By the way, my brother and I will be speaking at Bitcoin Conference this year. Use code Altcoin Daily for 10% off your ticket if you want to come out, hang out, chill with us. The link for that is down below. Ethereum looking healthy. The Ethereum Layer 2 ecosystem soaring to new heights with an all-time high of 13.6 million unique addresses, up 74% in 7 days. Layer 2 dominance hit 6.69x with over 832,000 weekly transactions. Love to see the growth, the adoption. It's a big signal that Ethereum is not going away. The ecosystem is growing. Midas does have a presence at Token 2049 in Dubai this year. That's happening right now. I'm not there, but it's cool to see the projects that are engaging their communities and making major announcements. Like always, see you tomorrow.